besties, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about my favorite topic, which is single dads. Okay, did I marry a single dad? Of course I did. Was that the plan? Obviously not. I don't think we plan on it. But when I met Ryan, he had already had Kels. Kels was 2 years old when I met them. And it's so funny because I feel like I manifested that shit without even realizing it. Because in high school, I used to tell all my friends, I want to have a kid without having a kid. You get it? Like I didn't want to go through that. And now, my baby is 9 years old. I've been in her life for 7 years now. I refer to her as my daughter. She is always going to be my daughter. I don't refer to her as like stepkid or anything like that. Even though I am her stepmom, we have 50-50 custody. Like, it's a great life. Her mom lives like 5 minutes down the road. It didn't start off as good as you would think. Like, the relationship, there was some tension there, but we ended up working out everything, and so now like we're actually everything's good. I feel like if you wrote a book about us, there would have been some drama, but we're now in the happy ever after, right? And so it's just funny that we have an entire genre dedicated to just single dads. Like, rarely do we read about single moms. Single dads though, like, we love that shit. So do I only own 3 of the books? Of course I only own 3 of them. I need to do a better job about buying books. I don't think I bought a book in like so fucking long. But if you ask Brian, he'll be like, the last books you bought were like $500 for a set. So like, balance? And I'm like, okay, we don't need to, we don't need to talk about that. So I have 3, but I have a total of 7 listed on my list over here. I do want to point out, this is definitely one of those situations of like, if I like it, I'm just going to get it in another color. That a lot of them are actually pretty similar, but like have a little bit of twist. So there's none that are exactly the same. And I will go through them, but you'll notice that some of them are like, this book is very similar to this book for these aspects. So we're gonna start off with one of my favorite all-time single dad romances, and that is Heartless by Elsie Silver. So this book is actually book number 2 in the Chestnut Spring series of a total of 5 books. You can definitely read it on its own. They are interconnected standalones. I read this book first. I had no idea that Flawless was the first book and this was the second book in the series. This was way at the beginning of my reading journey. I think at the point when I read this book, I had only been reading for like 2 months. Like, I read this as like a physical book, except for I bought the one that's the different covers that has the people on it. And I remember like instantly falling in love with this book. Like, absolutely love it. I still to this day think about this book. Okay, so you have Cade. He is a cowboy and he has a son, and I want to say his son is maybe like 5 in this book. He's in that like 5 to 8 range. So like not baby, but also not like a full-blown like a teenage kid or anything like that. So he needs a nanny. Like, he was having family like kind of help out. He's working the farm. They live on like a huge ranch in Canada. These are all, the whole series is based in Canada, and I love that as like somebody that's family is all from Canada. I think it's so funny that it's like a cowboy series in Canada. I don't know. I just find it hilarious. So they all live on a ranch, and he is one of 3 brothers, and then they have a best friend that is also like pretty much a brother. So the series follows the 4 of them plus 1 extra guy. And Cade is the oldest, I believe, and he's the one that helps around on the farm a lot, while his other brothers, one's in the army, Bo is the last book, one is a rodeo, like he's a bull rider in the rodeo, and then the friend that's like a brother is a hockey player. So each of the series has like a different dynamic, but Cade is the single dad of the group. His son's mom is not in the picture. She is still alive. They just had like a big falling out, and she's kind of trash, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. You'll meet her in the book, but like, she sucks. Well, how these 2 meet is Cade's younger brother, Rhett. So that's the first book, Flawless, okay? Rhett's girl, Summer, has a best friend named Willa, and Willa is kind of like a free spirit, flowy girl. And Willa's like, I'm gonna come visit you this summer, blah, blah, blah. And Summer's like, actually, I have a job you could do. I know someone who needs a nanny. And Willa's like, I've never babysat before, but you know what? Hell yeah, I love kids, let's go. So Willa shows up into town, drops off at a coffee shop. She's waiting in line, and she goes to pull something out of her purse, like pull something out. There's this grumpy guy stick up his ass standing behind her in line, and a pair of panties drop from her purse, right? And so she goes to pick them up at the same time the guy behind her goes to pick them up. And the guy kind of realizes what they are, and like I said, he's grumpy, so he's like, right. And she's making a joke, laugh, haha, you never know when you need a spare pair of panties, blah, 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 and the guy's not having it. Turns out that's Cade. That is who she's about to nanny for. And so it becomes Willa's life mission to literally get under Cade's skin. She thinks it's so fucking funny that he is so stuck in the mud, and she is trying her best. And Cade doesn't budge. Cade doesn't budge until one night they go into the hot tub together, because like, I don't know, he goes in after like a long day. She was already in there, and they play some kind of truth or dare game. She's got the tiniest little bikini on. And so Cade starts to notice. Like, he's always noticed that she's pretty, but it was like, whew, tension is rising. So this one, I still think about the scene with them like by the hay bale, like today. And it's been, 3 years at this point? So Daddy Cade, number 1, on top. Okay, right now I'm currently reading Caught Up by Liz Tomforde. Oh my goodness. Okay, I am 30% in, and I'm already standing 10 toes in on this video that like freaking Kai Rhodes is going to, he's giving Daddy Cade a run for his money, in my opinion. I am obsessed. So this one is going to be a baseball romance rather than a cowboy romance. Still same dynamic though. You have Kai is 32 years old. Miller, the girl, she's 25. And what happens is Kai's on the baseball team, and he has a 15-month-old son. And how that turned out is he apparently got a girl pregnant. The girl never told him. The girl had the baby for 6 months before showing up on Kai's doorstep with Max, the baby, and said, hey, I'm really sorry. I got pregnant. I didn't want you to feel like you were trapped, so I never told you, but now I'm realizing I don't want to be a mother. So she drops Max off on Kai's doorstep, basically, and dips. And now Max not only missed out on 6 months of the baby's life, he now is a single father and like has to navigate being on a baseball team. He's a pitcher, like, and he's like close to retirement. So like he's kind of battling whether he should retire to take care of Max or keep doing what he loves, all this stuff. But the baby's now 15 months. So like he's had him for, an extra 10 months, 9 months since mom dipped out. The team loves him. The coach is so accommodating, constantly finding him new nannies whenever Kai gets into his mood, fires the nanny that's been hired, right? So the book starts off with Kai just fired another nanny. And everyone's like, okay, but you always get guy nannies. Can we get a hot girl nanny this time? Kai's like, no, I don't care, blah, 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 blah. Well, Coach's daughter is in the same area right now. She's a chef. She likes to bake. She quits her job. She's like trying to refigure some shit out. She goes to her dad and was like, hey, I can hang out with you this summer. And he's like, I got a job for you. You could travel with the team as long as you're the nanny for this little boy, Max. Well, Miller and Kai had already met in the elevator. Kai was holding Max. Miller was holding 2 Coronas. And Kai's like, it's 9 a.m. on a Thursday. Like, what is wrong with you? You are unhinged. And so she tries to flirt with him a little bit. And Kai's just like, he thinks she's beautiful, but he's like, what's wrong with this girl? Like, covered in tattoos, septum ring, like, whatever. And so it turns out that he goes to Coach, and Coach says, hey, I have a new nanny for you. And in walks his daughter. And he's like, you? And she's like, I had a feeling it was going to be you, knowing my life. I'm your new nanny. So they have this kind of tiff going on where she thinks it's so funny to just constantly make innuendos at him that she's like flirting with him, like implying like, hey, and she calls him, at first it started with baby daddy. She's like, all right, baby daddy, whatever. Then she turned it to baseball daddy. So she calls him baseball daddy, and he's like, for the love of God, Miller, please just make sure you're taking care of my son. But she's obviously doing a great job. So he starts to kind of loosen up, and that's where I'm at, and I'm learning that he has a filthy mouth. Like, he is okay. So, yeah, needless to say, it's rated 4.46 stars on Goodreads with like 11,000 reviews, and how do you beat that? You know what I mean? Okay, who are we gonna do next? I want to save these for last. Okay, let's do Brutal Score. This is perfect. This one is a copy paste. So if you like Caught Up, okay, but you want it hockey, I wouldn't say the writing is similar. I would definitely say that I like the writing of Caught Up better than I like the writing of Brutal Score. However, if you don't care, you're like me, you just read for fun. Brutal Score is literally the same timeline as, or not timeline, sorry, same idea as Caught Up. You have Riker, I think his name is. Maybe I'm making that up. I'm making that up. Riker's a different guy in the series. But anyway, Brutal Score is another series in which it can be read as a standalone. Same thing with Caught Up, same thing with Heartless. I think every single book I'm going to name today is part of a series that can be completely read as a standalone. But I'm going to blank on the names for Brutal Score. But the guy in this book also had a child that he did not know about. And the mom of that child was passing away. She got really sick. And so she wrote in her will that she wanted her daughter, who was roughly 2, to go live with her dad. So again, he just gets blindsided by, hey, you have a kid. Here you go. And now the mother's mother, so the biological mother's mom, is actually trying to fight for custody of this child. And the hockey player's like, no, like I just got her. I had no idea she was here. I missed out on so much of her life. I'm not giving you my child, right? So he is in a similar situation that he needs to have a nanny. Like he needs to have a nanny. Well, he reaches out to this service that has like nannies, whatever the case may be, and one shows up at his doorstep. Well, it turns out it's the girl that he had met at a hotel like way prior, and they had a one-night stand and they had an amazing time, but they didn't share names, they didn't share anything about each other, and they went their separate ways. Well, the company that he reached out to for a nanny was like her sister's company, and so like her sister was like, hey sis, you can stay here. Like she was recently going through like her fiance cheated on her or something like that, so she's kind of trying to establish herself in this city. So she's like, okay, I'll take this nannying job. It will give me a place to stay. Like it's a live-in nanny job. So he opens the door, it's her, and they're like, you, and it's like, you, and so now they have to kind of navigate that. So it's the same vibe as like Caught Up, except for I would say Miller from Caught Up is a lot more fun, sassy, flirty, while the girl in Brutal Score is a lot more reserved. She's very quiet. She's even very quiet like in her friend group and stuff like that. So if you're looking for like more fun, light, funny, Caught Up's definitely it, but still cutesy vibe, Brutal Score will be it. Okay, now you want no more sports. You want one more, that small town romance. This one I would say is like a solid book. Like nothing that I would just like go crazy over like I do by other ones. But it's called Chase Our Forever by Kat Singleton. I really like her writing style. I think it's very cute. It's very small town romance, very casual, very fun, very easy read. This one is going to follow a girl who's living in Florida, and her dad is a giant piece of shit. Like in the sense that she was growing up with just him, and he would take all their money to spend on drugs and alcohol and barely took care of her. So she's always been self-sufficient, and she was saving up to leave home. And then around 18, he found her stash, took all her money, blew it all again. So she saves up. So now she's like kind of in her 20s by the time she's able to just escape that home life. And so she just got in her car and she drove. She has no plan, she has no destination, and she just took off. Well, now the book opens up and she needed gas and she wanted some breakfast, so she stops in this tiny town. And again, this is going to be like book 2 or 3 of this series that I haven't read yet. And she walks into the bakery, and you could already tell that the bakery owner has her own book. You know how when the authors start to like talk about old people that had their books, like you could just tell right off the bat who has already had their book. So like we're already introduced very familiarly with this baker. And so there's a little girl that's running around the restaurant. She comes over and sits down with the girl that's eating this, I think it's cinnamon roll or a muffin or something. And the girl's like, wow, this is the best thing I've ever had. And the bakery shop owner is like, oh my gosh, thank you, blah, 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 blah. And this little girl starts sitting with her. And they color and whatever. And you notice that the girl is there because her dad is a single dad who just recently fired yet another nanny, as these single dads do. Like we love a possessive man and we love an overprotective father, right? So fires another nanny because she just wasn't good enough. And so now the bakery owner is friends with the dad, so like she's always willing to help watch the little girl, but the dad always feels bad about it. So the little girl's there, she's playing with the FMC, right? And the day comes to a close, and the bakery shop owner has been like trying to convince this girl all day to stay in their town. Like, you're gonna love our town, it's so cute, it's so cute. Well, she's like, I don't have a job or a place to stay or anything like that, I don't know. And in walks dad, and dad is fine. Okay, he's like early 30s. His wife had passed from an accident, and the bakery shop owner's like, you should hire her as a nanny. Like, she has no job or anything. She's just in. And so the guy's like, okay, send over your resume, do all this stuff. And sure enough, she gets the job as the living nanny there. And that one's another really cute story too. So love that. If you want a book, this one's so fun. I like this one a lot too. If you want a book where like the child isn't so young, I think Chase Her Forever, she was probably like 8. This one is Never Bargain with the Boss. And this child, I want to say she's like 13, like early teens. Not like late in her teens, but early teens. But the sass, holy shit, the sass reminded me so much of my kid. I was like, damn, like, not in like it's so funny when I talk about the sass, because it's never like rude, it's just funny. It's just like, oh dang girl, I see you, like, you hold your own. So the book opens up that he again fired another nanny or something like that. These dads firing nannies left and right, or lost a nanny. Oh no, the little girl scared the nanny away, and she's like, Dad, you did not want this girl around. She was dumber than a bag of rocks. I don't know what it was that she did, but she like scared away the nanny. And he's like, what am I gonna do? Like, your grandma can't keep helping us, blah, blah, blah. I work all the time because I'm a billionaire, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, Dad, you need to chill out. It'll be fine. They find a nanny. I don't remember how the nanny comes into the picture, but she's got like pink hair, crazy style, loves to thrift shop, just completely opposite of him, right? And so she and the little girl just hit it off. Nope, I know how they met. Again, it's another one of those situations where like his brother had a book before this one, and like the brother is like in some kind of mob shit or something, and this girl, the FMC of this book, like needed help to get away from this other guy, and he's like, yeah, come to my town, it's fine, we'll find you something. And so he told his brother, like, I need you to hire this girl. And so he's like, whatever, fine, my daughter likes her. So they hit it off. The daughter and her are just like so compatible, and their banter is so fucking funny. So like anyone that's a mom with a daughter that like, I don't know, is at least like 3 or 4, and you already have this like really good, like, oh God, I have a mini me. Like, you're gonna love this book. Like, you're gonna love this so much. And so again, like I said, he's billionaire, nice ties, so cashmere. Not that he's wearing cashmere. I don't know why I said that, but like suits that are so nice. And so they're like trying to fuck with him to wear like thrift store stuff, and his OCD's kicking in. So that one's a really, really good book too. I actually really like that one. Now, if you're looking for something a little spicy, you want to go spicy with it. All these are spice, but I mean like, a little taboo. I also don't mind the single dad ones where like she is the ex-boyfriend's girlfriend. I always think that's a fun trope. So you got Praise, Birthday Girl. Both of those are going to have the same, again, idea of like, she was dating his son, something happened, and now either they like, for Birthday Girl, they end up moving in with the dad because they couldn't afford their own place, and her boyfriend is a pile of trash. Or for Praise, it was they were living together, and at the start of the book they broke up because her boyfriend was trash, and now she needs the deposit back for like whatever, and he was like, well, just go get it from my dad. And she like shows up, and the dad thinks that she's there to be his submissive that he just like was looking for. I don't want to say more. So very, very interesting, very interesting books. And then if you want a single dad that's dark romance, I don't know a whole lot of single dad dark romances other than Daddy Jonathan. Okay, Rena Kent, Reign of a King. This one is going to be like, his son is in high school or like borderline on college, so much older child. He's 45 years old. His wife passed away years ago, like years ago. And she is his deceased wife's little sister. So talk about some taboo shit there. But I didn't think I'd like this book in the sense of I've met Jonathan in other books and I just hated him. But my gosh, did I love this book. So it's going to be, but this one will be 2 though. It will be Reign of King, Rise of Queen. That's going to be the duet. All in all, I'm a huge fan of like the light-hearted single dad trope for the first half of this video. But I'll get a little spicy with it too. I'm not above it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some good recs out of this. This was actually really exciting for me because I kind of forgot how much I love this trope until I started caught up this week. And I was like, oh gosh. No, I'm not kidding. And by this week, I mean yesterday afternoon. And I'm already like 40% done. I'm eating that shit up. And it's a big book. I'm doing the immersive reading, like audiobook, and reading it. And it's just, it's how I want to spend my day today, you know? But anyway, I hope you all have the best day. And I will see you next time.